What's good, YouTube? ThatGuyNari here with a video. Today it will be the first video on my channel. This is not my first YouTube video ever, but this is the first video on my channel, so if you guys can show some love by dropping a like and subbing, I appreciate that. Today we're going to be reacting to what Trump's auto tariffs means for Canada, Europe, and China. I'm not too fascinated or into politics or anything like that, so I think this will be a good way for me to find out what's really going on in the world that I live in. And if you guys are also watching for the same purpose, make sure you guys smash the like and sub button. And yeah, let's get into the video.
President Trump signing an order just a few hours ago for a 25% tariff on auto imports, taking effect next Wednesday. Let's take a listen.
What we're going to be doing is a 25% tariff on all cars that are not made in the United States. If they're made in the United States, there's absolutely no tariff. We start off with a 2.5% base, which is what we were at, and we go to 25%.
Wait, you said it was at how much? Sorry.
And we go to 20, absolutely no tariff. We start off with a 2.5% base, which is what we were at, and we go to 25%.
So Bloomberg senior editor Derek Warbank joins us now, along with our China correspondent Min Lo. Derek, let's start with you. What do we know so far when it comes to autos and pharma?
Well, I think in the auto sector, there's a couple of key things that are worth noting, and one of those is that this doesn't just apply to automobiles as fully assembled. It also applies to auto parts as well. That was something that was being very clear.
Yeah, I don't think this is no, I don't think this might be the smartest thing to do, considering that there is a lot of overseas parts that some cars require. That's gonna eventually lead to more auto problems, potentially businesses going out of business. I don't know.
Closely watched.
I don't see the pros of this move so far, but keep
the details of how this is going to work, particularly within the context of the North American supply chain, is something that still is a little bit in the works. There are a lot of parts that are shipped between the U.S. and Canada, and the U.S. and Canada and Mexico, and et cetera, back and forth in the production of some of these vehicles. And so how that's going to be treated is something to see going forward. But you only have to look at the aftermarket impacts to.
I feel like a lot of these moves or changes that's being made, it affects the people more so than it affects the actual president. Just because he doesn't drive cars on this day-to-day basis doesn't mean that this should be, a law that's passed that's beneficial, because it's not really going to benefit anyone whatsoever. But it's just my opinion.
GM and Ford and Stellantis and et cetera, to see, and then as well the Asian reaction to some of those car makers, to see the effects on this. It's going to be pronounced. This is, look, Rebecca, this is a clear test.
Oh, whoa. Okay. April 5th is the deadline for TikTok deal, which I know this is a bit off topic, but that means that we could potentially lose TikTok again. 25% on EU autos, chips, Parma, unspecified yeah, I'm gonna save myself the embarrassment. Yikes.
Run in terms of what April 2nd may look like, April 3rd in Asia. There is going to be an awful lot of action across a whole range of trade relationships, countries, products, etc. And look, we've been talking for a long time about whether people should take Donald Trump seriously or literally or whatever. I have long said he may not go as far as the most maximalist of threats, but he's not going to do nothing either. And this 25% tariff on autos for two of the U.S.'s closest trade partners is a really clear confirmation of that.
Derek, what have we heard from counterparts, like the Canadians, Mark Carney, and have we also heard from the Europeans on this?
Yeah, Ursula von der Leyen came out and had comments. Mark Carney came out and had comments. They are what you would expect, disappointed, etc.
One second. Okay, we good.
It remains to be seen exactly how there will be a counterpunch, if there will be a counterpunch from some of these places. Certainly the Canadians are working on options there. Doug Ford, the premier.
So does this more so affect like the other countries like Canada and Europe and China, or does this more so affect the U.S.? Y'all let me know.
Of Ontario was talking about that as well. I think that there was some question of what the U.S. would wind up doing if there were going to be loopholes, things like that. So we didn't necessarily, walking into this action, see a lot of countries say, here's exactly what we will do. It was something where they were going to see what the U.S. was going to do, and then they were going to respond. That's kind of where we are right now, awaiting the details of what those responses may be. But look, make no mistake, there is going to be a massive amount of complication. You know, David, you know well, I'm an adopted Michigander. I've lived, you know, close to that bridge connecting Detroit and Michigan, and there's a whole lot of commerce that flows over that. People, you know, who live in Windsor, Ontario, who work in Detroit, and vice versa. Those two economies are as connected as any two international places on the map, and this is going to be a major complication in that relationship that is very, very intertwined.
Derek, thanks. And the other sort of big part of the conversation that we haven't mentioned yet here is China, of course. And then it does look like potentially there may be some reprieve, that Donald Trump may offer some room for negotiation on tariffs, particularly to secure a deal.
Yes, I think.
Okay, so if I'm getting what's being put down, basically I'm hearing that, you know, Trump is willing to work with China only because there was a TikTok deal that was made. Which, if you think about it, you know, I'm not gonna complain because, you know, we'll still have TikTok, but it's kind of pathetic if you think about it. Like, that's what our generation has came down to, you know, laws being enforced and put on hold, you know, due to social media. I mean, it's kind of crazy.
We are all very excited and waiting with bated breath to see what the final tariffs would look like and what that deal could be, because Trump is saying he's willing to trade off those tariffs in exchange for getting Beijing support to sell TikTok. And
see, I was right. Wait, so the deadline is end of
remember
next
that
week?
deadline.
Okay, so we have to take into consideration that, you know, TikTok has announced it being sold. The U.S. is not being sold, that it needs to be sold or will be banned. I believe it was like 2024, and, you know, nothing is happening yet. So chances of it getting sold is slim. So I don't know what wonders are gonna work behind the scenes, but I just know that they better not ban TikTok.
Is April 5th, which is the end of next week. So we're counting down. Trump is saying he's confident he will be able to secure the outline of a deal, and if not, he will be able to get another extension. Previously, the TikTok was supposed to be divested in mid-January, and at the last minute, Trump managed to get this extension by 90 days. And Trump said he has been speaking with 4 potential...
Wait, so it's been 90 days since January 20th? It's been 90 days.
Potential bidders. He didn't name names, but we know that previously there had been groups of investors that had indicated their interest, including a group led by Frank McCourt, the billionaire, also another group involving Mr. Beast, that YouTuber. And Oracle could also throw its head into the ring, but...
I just heard Mr. Beast or Bees.
So throw its head into the ring, but look... including a group led by Frank McCourt, the billionaire, also another group involving Mr. Beast, that YouTuber. And Oracle could also throw its head into the ring. But look, this week you have Steve Baines in Beijing saying that no trade talk could really begin unless China commits to stopping the flow of fentanyl. Earlier today, you have Zhu Min, the former managing director of IMF, saying at the Boao Forum that China must be prepared for a trade war. So really hard to say how this negotiation will go. I guess we'll have to wait for next week.
Why can't...
Wow. You know, I'm speechless still, you know. A little bit of me has, you know, has obtained what's going on in this video, but some of me is like, I don't know what's going on. So if you guys got better links for me to watch that gives me a better understanding, or if you guys want to tell me more about it in the comments, let me know. Like I said, this is my first video. I will have my other socials linked in the description, but I hope y'all enjoy.